Alright everyone, we're going to talk about crossing the Rubicon. The Rubicon was a river in Italy. Armies were forbidden to enter that part of Italy. You could not cross the Rubicon and bring an army into Rome. Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon. It's called the event horizon. It's the point of no return. It's the place in your life that there's no going back. And this is where we're at now. We are crossing the Rubicon. We're at the main event. Let's talk about event. First of all, before I jump into that, in the upper left-hand corner, some of the Native American symbols for the age of Aquarius. You see the symbol of Aquarius, you see the man structure, and the water, but looking more like a feminine aspect there, with the tail. Of course, Capricorn and Aquarius are one sign. We see that in the Baphomet, which is an inverted pan symbol. And that's really what this video is going to be about, is the corruption. The corruption. It's the same thing the scribes scribbled the scriptures and gave us Bible, Bibble, Babble at Babylon. It's the corruption of the tongues, the languages, and the symbols. I can't stress to you enough how important alchemy is, because it's the key to everything. It's the key to astrology. It's the key to the languages. It's the key to the symbols. It's the key to science. It's the key to nature. It's the key to spirituality. It's the one key. It's like a master key. It fits every lock. Not everything can be uncovered. When you talk about crossing the Rubicon, the point of no return, in today's terminology, we call that the event horizon. Let's look at the word event. I've been telling you we're coming to the main event. We've been in a late night, double feature picture show. Event. You even the cross. It's the even cross. Well, there are 3 crosses at Golgotha, and there are 3 crosses in the heavens. These 2 are off balance. The one in the middle is always even. It's neither left nor right. It's even. It's the even cross. It's the event that we've all been waiting on. Now, there is a lot going on. Everybody is really laying down the gauntlet, so to speak, in their videos. We can see everything coming to that crescendo, to that Rubicon, to that point of no return. It's fixing to happen. It's going to be chaotic. When 2020 hits and the winter solstice and we hit that Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, like I said, many are going to manifest their nightmares, their monsters of the id. But there's a lot of us that have a chance to manifest a new future, because everything is included. When in this duality, we've been off balance. We've been more in the dark than in the light. And then they've confused the dark for the light, like I told you. When God created the heavens and the earth, and the evening, there's that even, and the morning, now we're going to mourn, we're the first day. Not the first night. This is sundown to sunset is day. We've been blinded by the light. And that's just a fact. We have not been taught how to read. We have not been taught how to think. And everything has been flipped on us. And I mean everything. They left no stone unturned save one. The stone they should have chosen for the foundation stone becomes the capstone. They took the swastika and inverted it. They've taken the pentagram and inverted it. They've taken the symbols of Baphomet and inverted it. They have swapped good for evil on every level. The even cross. Your cross is your burden. Your circle is your magic and your power. We all have them. 3 crosses in the heavens, 3 crosses at Golgotha. We've all been crucified, and we're all on one of those crosses, which tells us what our path is and what we're doing here. And if you want the knowledge of the even cross, remember the symbols. You get knowledge, you get magic. You can add these anywhere. You get the 7 cross, which are the 7 chakras in your body. To get across the even cross, to reach the even cross, you must have the knowledge. You must know. There's so much in that, because the K is spirit, W is magic, S is secret knowledge. So you got the spirit, the circle, the magic circle spirit within. And that's how you know. You know that you know. Every letter is a symbol. We've been lied to and told that it's called an alphabet. And these are letters. These are not letters. These are symbols. And they have a completely different statement. In the Bible, Babel, when the scribes scribbled the scriptures at Babylon, that's when the tongues were divided, right? And we had one universal tongue, and it was a symbolic language. A picture paints 1,000 words. That's the English translation. The origin of that is 10,000 words. Or 10K. And 10 is X, so it's XK. You need to know Roman numerals, because they had everything to do with it. You need to understand that languages that we're told alphabets are alphanumerical. That's an invention, just like the alphabets. But when you know the symbols, and the symbols are all alchemical, and they start with the basic 4, which is these. For earth, water, fire, and air. And then you have the 3 crosses. You have the 4 elements and the 3 crosses. These are the elements of matter, and these are the states of matter. You have solid, liquid, and gas. You have fixed, solid, liquid is mutable, and gas is cardinal. The Most High, Adept, Master, Grandmaster. The even one is the master. They called Jesus Master. That's what they called him. That's the word in the Greek. Here's the word in Arabic. Thalam, the Lamb, Thalama. They've just scribbled it all so much for us. Egypt is Babylon. After the flood, they went back to Babylon. The Greeks called it Egypt because the word Egypt, it's a Greek word. It's not an Egyptian word or an Arabic word. It's a Greek word. Epsilon. A gyp is a female dog. It's like royalty. She's being raised to breed. She's a breeder, but she has never bred. She's a virgin. But she's a dog. She has no pups of her own. She is a wolf. That's why you see the change in the Bible, that the lamb will lay down with the wolf. It's the same thing as the lion laying down with the lamb, because they switched the symbol. Same thing. Now, Remus and Romulus, Rem and Ram, as I call them. Rome here, of course, kills his brother. We know that story. This is the wolf. Egypt, or the original Babylon, is the wolf that suckled Remus and Romulus, because she was a virgin dog bred for royalty and had no pups of her own. And they let us know it was the fifth age of the virgin and the cross. And they gave you, let me do this. Y'all gonna have to do some of your own homework. I'm telling you, if you want to check my work, I encourage you to do it. The three pyramids in Giza. They represent the three eyes, the masculine eye, the feminine eye, and the third eye. They do not represent the stars in Orion's belt. That's a falsity. This is Fomalhaut, triple star system. It is the man on one end and the lion on the other. It is the Sphinx. It's the fixed cross. It's the event. Everything points to it. There is so much because of the Masons and what they did, and everything they put out to the public is a falsity, because they've got you stuck in Egypt. You're in Egypt, and they didn't choose. They chose Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. As Isis, Venus is on Earth. This is the heart chakra. Heart chakra belongs to Venus. Venus also rules Libra. On Earth, she's on the fixed cross. In Libra, she's on the cardinal cross. In Earth, it's feminine. In Libra, air is masculine. Here, she's Isis. Here, she's Lucifer. Our hearts are torn between heaven, air, and earth. The heart is deceptive. There's a big discussion that we need to talk about, because there are three. I've talked a lot about the fire signs and the water signs. Now it's time to talk about earth and air. I'm going to start with air, because every sign has three aspects. The ones we were talking about before are all ruled by Jupiter, Mars, the Moon, and the Sun. But Saturn, Venus, and Mercury. Rule the upper chakras, and they rule all air or heaven and earth. Saturn is the only house that's not divided with Capricorn and Aquarius. Venus, the heart chakra, the crown chakra is not divided. Venus, ruling the heart, we just discussed, is between Taurus and Libra. Mercury is on the mutable cross right off the bat, and he rules with Jupiter, and he rules Virgo, earth, and Gemini, air. Mercury's called the trickster, right? He's the tongue chakra, the throat chakra. He also rules logic and intelligence, commerce, navigation. Mercury, in one tradition, he's the trickster, because when he goes retrograde, he throws everything off balance. But he also can bring the greatest wisdom, as such that came down in the age of Hermetics, Gemini. Mercury being Buddha, Thoth, Hermes, Veracocha, Lord Pakal. And then we have Venus and those two aspects of the heart. We are told in Proverbs a lot about Mercury. Saturn speaks. Saturn is speaking in the book of Proverbs. He's wisdom. And he speaks about taming the tongue. Taming the tongue. Because the Lamb in the New Testament tells you, you speak life or death with your tongue. It's not what goes into a man's mouth that defiles him. It's what comes out. You're creating it by speaking it. Pharaoh said, so let it be written, so let it be done. While he was speaking that, it's the power of the word. And they are very manipulative. And words, alphabet, are made up of a set of symbols. And there are meanings within those symbols. Venus needs to move into the fifth age. And then instead of Venus, she's even us. Mercury, me cure. Cure me. They give us Mercury retrograde. That's the symbol for retrograde for any planet. And it's also a symbol for your chakras going retrograde, and it's on every prescription you get. It has a hex on it. It has a spell. We need a spell to break all spells. We need a spell to break all spells. And that's the opening of the third eye. It breaks every spell. You know every trick of the magician after that. And there's no bullshit they can pull down over you. If you've done your homework, if you don't play follow the leader, jumping on somebody else's bandwagon with a bunch of erroneous bullshit information, I can't stand that. It really picks my peeve, the way people use one. Hold on, let me pause this. Alright, sorry about that. It really upsets me the way people who jump on other people's bandwagons. They hear something, it evokes emotion in them, so they're off making videos about shit they haven't done their homework and researched it. I encourage all of you to research anything I'm doing, and if you can prove me wrong, please do. I feel like I've done my homework. A lot of stuff I still have on the table that I have not made my decision about yet. And two of those are Mercury and Venus, because one of them is the ultimate betrayal. And in one sense, it appears that it's Mercury, but in the other, it appears it's the heart. And the heart is very deceiving to us. We don't understand. When I tell you your heart's torn between heaven and earth, it's torn between the upper chakras and the lower chakras. That's why we have an aspect of love and lust. This is a duality. And everything in this place is dualistic except for one. And that is Saturn. He's not dualistic, or it's not dualistic. Which is funny. We put all these he, she, it, he, they, we on these pronouns in the Greek that don't exist. It's neither masculine nor feminine. It is it. In other languages, the masculine and feminine is built into the word of the subject. You have to go, the pronoun has to go back to the subject. Sentence structure. It's all fine design. I actually hated English. I really did. I thought it was bullshit. I thought it was the most boring thing ever. And they kept repeating the same thing over and over again. And 90% of the people in the class couldn't even get it. I didn't get it. In the 6th grade, I demanded to know why. If I can write a perfect sentence and I'm making straight A's, then you need to explain to me why I need to know what a noun and a subject and a verb and a preposition and anything is. And why do we need to know sentence structure? What is this all about? What is its purpose? I can write the perfect paragraph. I could write a book and never make an English error. But I needed to know why. And the teacher could not explain it to me. She didn't have an answer. But the only answer she had for me was take a foreign language. So I took Spanish, and I understood immediately. The first day in the class, I got it. Because other languages were different. And if you want to understand language, it's more than understanding just English. To understand English, you must have a different perspective, and that can only come from a different language, a different sentence structure. I wanted to know communication, Mercury. I got Mercury in my 12th house. I got Mercury in Sagittarius, that illuminated Mercury on the mutable cross, ever changing, ever growing without. That's one thing about the fixed cross. Let me tell you about the age of the fixed cross we're coming up on. There will be no change. It is set. It's set in stone. Fixed ages are set. Mutable ages, that's where the change comes, where we're at now. And then we reach the cardinal age, which is the most high, apex, peak, summit, the most high. Earth signs. I want to talk about air and earth signs. Because when we talk about the air signs, we're talking about Mercury in Gemini, Venus or the heart in Libra, and Saturn in Aquarius. Let's talk about these. Like I said, here, this is Buddha. If you doubt me, I've given you where I'm getting my sources. I have many sources. I have more than one source, or I wouldn't be putting this information out. And I've done the videos, I've done the homework, I've done it for all of us. And in every video, look in the description box below. You're going to find a link for planetary linguistics. And it's the names of all the planets in all the different languages. And you clearly see who Mercury is in the age of Gemini. What we have now, this language structure, is post-flood. Pre-Diluvian, antediluvian, there were no alphabets. Everything was symbolic. And everybody understood it. We all had an oral tongue, but we didn't have alphabets. We had symbols. Venus, as we've discussed, Libra, is Lucifer, which has been demonized. This name really only appears one time in Scripture, and you know it's added. One, it's in the Old Testament, and two, that's a Latin word, not a Hebraic word, an Aramaic word. Don't even come close, has nothing to do with it. It's invented. It's what is a Latin word doing in an ancient Hebraic text, unless it was scribbled. We know who does this. You need to understand, all priesthoods, all of them, from every culture around the world were astrologers. What we know in the Western tradition, or even in the Oriental, because it's where the two meet, they were called Sabians, or Sabaeans. And it was part of North Africa, Morocco. It was literally the best place to see the stars, and then you had knowledge from all sides of the Mediterranean, right? The Sabians. And they weren't from that area. That's where they grouped. These people didn't come from the Mediterranean. They came from the Orient after the flood. Buddha, Gemini, after the flood. And they came down and they found the Sphinx. They found the three pyramids. But instead of attributing it to the age it belonged to, they changed it. They left it on the fixed cross, but they changed it from Leo, which when it was built, into the age of Taurus on the fixed cross, and called it Egypt, but it's definitely Babylon. There's so much I want to kind of just tie a bunch of loose ends together for you and show you how everything connects to everything else without making it any confusion. I really wish I had internet right now, because I want to pop up planetary linguistics. This is just homework you're going to have to do for yourself. Like I've said, they've inverted everything. Isaac Newton was an alchemist. I've got the opportunity to go over some of his papers, not many. That part of his work is withheld from us. But he made some funny statements. One, he was the dean of Trinity College, and he was a Grand Master Mason, but he made a statement that they would crucify him if he told what he believed, that God, our Creator, was one, not a Trinity. And we look at it as a Trinity, our Father who art in heaven. Well, all heaven signs are masculine. And so you have the heart, the throat chakra, and the crown chakra. And there are three fathers there. Three, 1, 2, 3. That's why they're so adamant about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit all being masculine, because it's all air signs. Just like in the Quran, they tell you that women don't go to heaven. There's no women in heaven. Of course not. There are no air signs. Air signs are all masculine. They have to tell you this is a man's world, but that's a world age, because the earth is feminine. It doesn't belong to man. It belongs to woman. It's her house. All earth signs are feminine. All water signs are feminine. All fire and air signs are masculine. And they come in 3 states. 3 crosses, 4 elements, the 7 gods, the 7 chakras that rule us all. So Lucifer. Why Lucifer? Well, I understand it completely, because it has to do with the calendar. One, it's a loose cipher. It's a code. It's a code. It's built into the word, and Lucius, it means light. It's a light code. Your computer is run by a light code through fiber optic cables. They turn data into light signals and translate it back on the other end. It's a light code. It's a loose cipher. Lu is 12, L, and 21. It's the death of the sun. It's the winter solstice. It's the frickin' loose cipher. And we get a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction with Pluto 8 years to the very minute after the 2012 hoax. Because it never was 2012, it was 2020, 12/21. 2021-221, the Lucifer code. And Lucifer, is the feathered serpent, Libra and Scorpio. It's Quetzalcoatl. And you will find all of that information built pre-flood, before the flood, built in the architecture of Central and South America. You will find the architecture of the age of Leo built in Egypt. You will find the architecture of the age of Gemini in the Orient. In the Far East, you have 3 stages of the East, 3 stages of fire, 3 stages of the Middle East, ruled by fire. The Far East, the Middle East, and the Near East. The East, Far East, and Middle East. East, near, and far. Don't want to confuse you there. In the water signs, it took me a while to figure that one out. How are the water signs divided up on the continent, on the different continents? And it occurred to me, because it's quite clear that Europe rules the water of the age of Pisces, and its color is white. And then there are 2 other ages, which was Cancer and Scorpio. And you'll find both of them in the Arctic and Antarctic. They're frozen. The ages of Earth, you will find they reestablished Earth in Taurus and Africa. You will find it in North America and Australia. In all 3 of these places, you find all the symbols, all the colors, and all the codes that this was an age of Earth. And then the ages of air, which were Libra, and you find that in part of the Orient, part of Central and South America, and part of India. They share in that Libra, Gemini, and then again Aquarius age coming up. Fire, of course, spread across Asia from Leo, and of course before the flood, Africa was connected into Asia. You didn't have the Mediterranean Sea. You didn't have a lot of that over there. When you go under the water, look around India, there are whole cities that just go on for miles, all over the place, all over the world, not just there. Every coastline is covered with ancient debris, and that's really the best place to find artifacts that have not been tampered with, because the Masons, along with the Vatican and the British Empire, those under Jupiter, have, if they have not stolen it, they perverted it or inverted it, like they do everything. Everything is upside down in this upside down world, and that's why it don't work for us. I'm not sure. I think some of us are here to try to fix it. That would be my only reason for staying, was to help stand in the gap. Saturn is about not just overcoming something, which is surviving, but to stand up against it. Not just to overcome it and walk away and go on with your life, but we're supposed to stand in the gaps. We're supposed to fill the void. We're supposed to be the anchors. A lot of us run around having temper tantrums trying to wake everybody up. And that's a self-appointed position there. It is the Holy Spirit's job to wake people up. And when we do it, it tends to go off the hook. We're farmers. Plant the seed, go on, be the anchor. Just wait, that seed will grow. Eventually the Spirit will kick on them and they'll wake up. And then they're going to need the anchor that you are. That's what you need to be doing. My channel is not for everybody. My channel is for anchors. I've done your charts. I know you people. I know who you are. I see the patterns. I see what's happening here. What's going on this channel. And the type of people that remain here. It'll attract many. My videos kind of get around, but those who come and stay, who are willing to do their homework, who are really serious about wanting to know the truth. One, a half-truth is a lie, and we can never know the whole truth in the flesh, because the flesh is only part of the truth. Life is only part of the truth. Death is the other part, and we've got those backwards. Night is day, good is evil, death is life. I wonder if laughing is weeping. Is weeping laughter? They say laughter's the best medicine. You know, I'm an observant person, and I spent years as a waitress and more as a bartender, really. And I don't drink, so I would watch people and listen to them. My job was very much that of a therapist, a psychiatrist, social worker, whatever, somebody to sit and listen to your problems. And I've lived in many, many places and met many, many different people and cultures from all over the world. And I'm curious and inquisitive. And I'm forever asking, when I meet foreigners, I'm forever asking them questions. Tell me everything you know. Tell me about your religion. Tell me about your traditions. Tell me about your astrology. And they know more than they realize. When they start telling me their traditions, I can easily start picking up what mystery school runs that. But I've learned a lot. And I can say I pretty much know people. But I've never encountered anything like what I've encountered in alchemical astrology and how accurate it can be. I don't say it's 100%, but I have done a couple of charts that they've told me this is nothing like me. And I felt that way about my own chart when I first done it. I thought, this is nothing like me. And then as I began to understand it, I realized it was. And that was part of me that I needed to accept. I didn't want, nope, I want to be that over there, not this over here. I didn't like having the planets on the proper cross. I wanted them where I had them before. It was more of an advantage to me. No, it wasn't. Truth, like a half-truth, a lie, is never an advantage. I learned about people that don't want to wake up. like my mother. I mean, I used to sit down and try to talk to her about anything. And I mean anything. And she's going to stick her fingers in her ears and start going la la la. You ask her why you do that. She says, I don't want to know. And some of them, they just mentally cannot handle it. They are not made of the good stuff. Let's talk about the good stuff. I love this source. Nag Hammadi Library. The Gnostic Gospels. The Revelation of John, which is actually the first revelation of John. The second revelation we have in the New Testament. You'll never understand the revelation of New Testament if you do not understand the revelation in the Nag Hammadi. And he talks about, love this one, the Unshakable Race. That's how it's translated. And know that the translation of that book was done by Jesuits at Claremont University in California. Just heads up on that. So they're without a sheikh and able. They're without a sheikh. In Arabic, they don't say sheikh. They say sheikh. So they're from the Unshakable Race. What is the Unshakable Race? Fixed cross. You can't move them. Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio. They're nailed. These are people that are not going to change. Change will be difficult for them. And the change will only come for them when they say so. Nobody else is going to tell them. It's going to have to be their choice. And when that change does come from them, they'll move to the cardinal cross, which is the Most High. And these two crosses with Saturn are one. The cardinal cross and the fixed cross meet in the crown chakra, bringing the two together. And the mutable is gone. These are the masters and the grand masters. We're leaving the age of adepts. So you need to know. And most of us are still in the novice stage. We're not even adepts yet. And it's going to have to happen in the twinkling of a damned eye. No doubt about that. To move us that fast. I know that the timeline is being sped up. I'm quite aware for decades I've been seeing the Galactic Kundalini event. I've been seeing the Rubicon event as we move from one age to another. How everything is fake. To me, everything was fake when I got here, instantaneously. When I was put into this body and I was put in it, it was not by my choice. I did not make this choice. And I remember my first reactions, my first emotions being connected to the flesh. I've never felt anything like that before. I know about the separation. That's the biggest thing. And we're all running around looking for ourselves and each other. And yourself is within yourself. They've got us on a wild goose chase, going in circles. We have to stop. We have to stand, sit, meditate, go within, know thyself, and then you know it all. Then nobody can lie to you after that. Nobody can deceive you or lead you down the garden path. And you definitely change. People go into this, those that want power or money, and if they accidentally or even divinely stumble upon the truth and open that third eye or have that near-death experience or that out-of-body experience, everything changes. The things you wanted before, you don't want anymore. The things that mattered before, they don't matter anymore. We worry about our loved ones. In the end, when all is said and done, everybody makes it. Let me tell you this story because it's part of duality. The tree of knowledge of good and evil is the tree of duality. And when all is said and done, we win, right? Everybody's saved but one. Just like on the other end. We're all saved but Jesus, right? He died for all of us. All saved but one. And then at the same time, when Jesus comes back, I hate that word because it means the son of Jupiter, and his name is Stellarium. But when the Christ or the Lamb comes back, he tells you in John 14, between the two, that all is saved but one, the son of perdition. And that is sun in the sky. Per means house, and dishon means images. Wow. All saved but one. It was the one who created the house of images. Now, the house of images is the zodiac. It's the one ring that rules them all. When the Lamb comes, we get a new zodiac, a new circle, and it's called the city of Jerusalem. And I saw the new Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, the air sign of Aquarius, adorned as a bride. And Aquarius is about astrology. So we get a new zodiac, a new astrology. And then the sun will no longer be portaling or transmitting the energy of Pisces, but will be transmitting the energy of Aquarius and the fixed star Fomalhaut. You need to understand what the sun is. There's a lot going on about the sun right now. Let's talk about it. Because I remember. The sun is not what you think. It's a portal. Stars are gates. That's why it's called Stargate. Gates. And they're all connected to each other. And when they align in certain aspects, you'll see this symbol a lot. Hold on. You'll see that symbol a lot. Actually, it should be this way. That's an inverted. It should be that way. And what it has to do with is the equinox, the balance. And when a star moves, when the sun moves from one constellation to another, it changes polarities. It changes. We have 4 suns. We have a yellow sun, a white sun, a red sun, and a black sun. Now they're screaming for the black sun. That's not going to happen until partway through the next stage. The red sun comes first. Everybody's having dreams about the red sky. I grew up having this dream. I've told y'all the dream of the red sky and the white sun. The battle of the red sky and the white sun. And right now we're seeing the white sun. A lot of people think it's artificial. They think it's, and this whole construct to me is artificial. The sun is changing polarities. It's being shifted. It's between ages. It's chaotic. It's blinking on and off. It's a portal. The light is on the outside. The friction of the outside of the sun is what causes the light. Because on the inside it's dark. Why do you think we have sunspots? Why is there not light emitting from that hole? They call it a hole. There's a hole in the sun, and it's black. I've been in the sun. It's dark in there. It's not just black. It's dark. No light. None. It's the darkest place I've ever been until I landed in this brain. When I landed in the back left-hand part of the mind or the brain, it was very dark. And the first thing I saw were two red, almond-looking things that happened to be my eyes. And then when I scrunched up and put them on like a mask, they focused into one single vision. But I still had my mind's eye and the capability to see both worlds. You know, man is one of the few creatures that communicate with a language. All other animals, birds, they communicate with emotional frequency and images in the mind. Image, the eye mage. It's a mage, it's magic, it's the 13th age is the mage. You know, let's talk about this for a minute. The Eastern Star. They do the, let me see if I can get this right. They do the pentagram upside down. Did I do that right? Eastern Star. Well, let's talk about the three wise men. I'm getting worse at this. The three wise men came from the east. They're coming from the east. That means they're traveling west. If they're from the east, they're traveling west. And they're following a star, not an eastern star. They're following a star in the west. Not inverted. The star, I think they were following because they were looking for, it was a star in Pisces. And it could only be two, and they're very close. And one is called the tie that binds, and the other one's called the first sign that ushers in a new age. And it wasn't the star of the Jews. It was the star of Pisces that they were following, because Jesus was for the age of Pisces. If they were following it for the age of Christ, then the star is Fomalhaut. But everybody, and I mean everybody, the builders, the masons, it's all about Sirius. Because of this one thing. They're stuck on the alphabet. They can't get off of it. This is Egypt. This is Babylon. This is the dog. This is confusion. This is Anubis. And Anubis is a freaking female, not a male. Taurus is a feminine age. It was overlaid. It was overlaid. It was a new matrix put on top of the Babylon matrix, the age of Leo, the Lion Man age, which was actually opposite of the Golden Age. We don't want to go back there either. They keep inverting the cross. They keep inverting the star. They want to turn it back in their favor, because this way it puts Aquarius down here and Leo back on top. That's why the inverted cross. That's Peter, right? Peter on top, Christ on the bottom. Actually, that in one aspect it's Peter, the inverted cross. Peter's cross is mutable to start with. Peter's not even on the fixed cross. Peter's cross is the age of Pisces. That's why they call it the seat of St. Peter's. Peter means father. Vader means father. Jupiter means father. Zeus is father of the gods. But the real father is Kronos, the father of Jupiter. Saturn. And they've got everybody chasing dogs. Are you serious? I couldn't be more serious. Let's throw away one vowel. Well, let's just move some vowels around. I'm going to take the S because that's my knowledge. And then I'm going to have the iris and U. The knowledge of your iris. Are you serious? It's the knowledge of your iris. When you talk about Orion, Freemasonry, let's look at it from a South American perspective. They call it Xibalba. B-A-L-B-A, yeah, Xibalba. And it is a place of death. In the Nag Hammadi, we're told about Xibalba, the god who created this illusionary world we live in, not the creator God, the other one. And that Sophia, our wisdom, made him, she made him, and he was defective. He was a lion. Instead of a lion man, he was a lion serpent. I call it a lying serpent, but he was a lion serpent. And he wore a crown. And she hid him. She hid him in a cloud. That cloud, we know that word cloud, N-E-B-U-L-A, nebula, is a nebula, and nebulas birth stars, and that's what he began doing. He didn't know about the other creator God. He thought he was it. He thought it was him and his mother, and he wanted to do what his mother did. And she created without the father. So if the father was 7, and here, okay, so God is, this is just, I'm not saying God is 7, but for you to understand, I'm going to use symbols as graphs. So God is 7, and he looks into the water, and she comes forth. She is a 5. Okay, so she creates Yaldabaoth without the 7. The 7 and the 5 would have made a 12, but she done it without him, so it only gave part of her, and he's the 3. He's the evil trinity, what you call the beast, the false prophet, and the Antichrist. The false Christ, the false prophet, and the beast. That triple system. Well, if there's a false, then there's a real one, right? If there's, everything's dualistic. Knowledge of good and evil. And our balance has been way toward the other side. And it's going to swing. It went so far that it's going to swing so hard back the other way, we're told, that we'll actually get 1,000 years of peace. Because in all of written history, there's only 40 years that are mentioned that only one tribe didn't have war. And now we're not told that about that other nations around the world are warring. There's war going on all the time. This is going to come to a stop. And it's because we know. We fight because we disagree, hate, anger, and all that comes from fear. And the only thing to fear is, the only thing that we ever fear is the unknown. In meditation, you can go in and find the truth about a thing without ever opening your third eye. You know, I sat and thought about it, and I think the reason a lot of people are not able to open their third eye is because your higher selves know you can't handle it. Actually, the elites have a saying that the reason they don't give this knowledge to everybody is because if they did, then nothing would get done. Nobody would do anything. A lot of people, like I said, there's a lot of really famous people, when they really woke up to what I'm talking about, they tried to commit suicide. They wanted out. they knew this was fake. They had a problem adjusting, adapting. It's hard for those on the fixed cross to adapt because they're fixed. They've already moved through the adapt stage. They're there. They're fixed. They're staying. Not in this age. Not at this time. This is a time of chaos, and we've all had the wool pulled over our eyes, the rug pulled out from under our feet. And there's only really one question. Right now we're at the time they call, when you're at the Rubicon, the event horizon, the main event, the point of no return. In the Bible calls it Armageddon. Or, let me translate that, the valley, that low point of decision. Time to make a choice. What's your choice? We're told if we go to be delivered up, we have to go into the courts, synagogues, or before the magistrates. We're not to think about what we're going to say. We're supposed to channel the Holy Spirit, that you'll get exactly what you need in exactly that moment, and not a second before. And we're all hurry up and wait, and waiting. What are we waiting on? And we worry, we try to change things, and we worry, we want to fix this and that. Look, we're going to get what we need exactly when we need it, and not a second before. All these people in the valley of decision, they're going to wake up exactly when they need to, and not before. Some of them, if you wake them up, it destroys their soul. And then they're back to square one. You've done them. How did the Lamb said, you cast out one demon, not knowing what you're doing, and 7 more come and replace it. What are you doing? You've cast out one demon. That's what I did to my husband. I cast out one demon, and many came to replace it. And I didn't know him anymore. That's why we don't do that. That's why we don't wake people up. It ain't your job. To me, if anything is what is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit? What is that? It's trying to do the Holy Spirit's job. It's a Jezebel spirit. That's what a Jezebel spirit is. Thinking you have the power to save anyone. We can't even save ourselves. And we want to wake everybody up. Wake them up to what? What are you waking them up to? What do you have to offer them in lieu of the life and the illusion they currently enveloped in? That's tampering in places we don't belong. The Lamb said, you didn't choose me, I chose you. I chose you 12, and one of you is a devil. They tried to put it off on Judah, that Judas Iscariot was the devil. I think it was Peter, because the Lamb, Christ, called him straight up Satan to his face and told him to get behind me. To his face. The true son of Jupiter. Theseus, the Jesus, is not Thalem. In the Bible, they called the Christ, they called him the Lamb. They called him Master. They called him Rabbi. They called him Teacher. And every one of those words translates in the Arabic to Thalem. And if we don't have the right script, it's like they give us a book and we need to take a test, but just like our books in school were all wrong, they scribbled them too, the Bible was scribbled, and so that we would not be able to pass the test. That's where the Holy Spirit comes in. And then, trust me, this is a test. The Bible tells us that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and it was good, and it became void and without form. And we all fell. We're told this explanation in Ezekiel and Isaiah, talking about before creation and how creation was destroyed and how it was recreated and the earth was replenished. And that for that reason, this world was created, and that it was appointed unto man and the angels to be born of woman. And they hate her. These angels hated the woman. The first curse come down in the Bible was, I will put my enmity between thy seed, talking to the serpent, and the seed of the woman. Between the seed of the woman and the seed of the serpent, not the seed of Adam. He hates her. In Daniel, this Antichrist character, this beast character, he is no respecter of women. Are you starting to see the pattern? Are you starting to see the agenda? The agenda that has been perpetrated upon the world with this phony feminism and this phony transgender, bringing it all into the Jupiterian physical world, ignoring the androgynous Saturnalian spiritual world of it. The balancing of the flesh can cause great imbalance in the spirit, and the great imbalance in the body can cause great balance in the spirit. That's why some of the handicapped people, especially the children, they're touched. They're so close to the divine, and we know it when we're around them. We can feel it. You can see them glowing like they're born a Leo or something. Think about what I'm telling you. When the body is weak, I am strong. When you are weak, I am strong. Yet we're trying. So what does Jupiterians do? What does the Empire do? They're sending you to gyms and giving you health drinks, and on it goes. They've got everybody being vegan. It's not what goes into a man's mouth that defiles him. Most people are hypocrites. They want to play both sides. They want to be on socially correct, socialism, and then conservative in their religious views, and it don't mix. Oil and water don't mix. You're either oil, which is the anointing, which is what Christ means, that river of living water, that land of milk and honey. Christos means anointed one, the anointed one. We're in the age of water. These people we call zombies, they're water babies. They belong in Davy Jones' locker. To enter the kingdom of heaven, you must be born in the kingdom of heaven. And right now we're between ages. So some are born with the oil, and some are born with the water. I was born in Indian Ola. Ola means hello in Spanish, if you throw the H there, but it means oil. It's maize, corn, ola, corn oil, the maize ola. I was born in the Indian Oil, in Indianola, Mississippi, Sunflower County. In the Magnolia State, on the Mississippi River, which is the inverted Nile. The land of Osiris, as opposed to the land of Isis. All right. I think I'm going to pause this for a minute and go get me a cold water. I want to end this with love. Love is a verb. We use it. It's something you do. We use love thinking it's something you feel. Oh, I love you. I have this feeling. This feeling is lust. That's not love. Love is something you do. Love is something you do. Capricorn means do. Aquarius is know. Okay, N-O-W. Pisces is believe. Aries is am. Taurus is will. But love is not what we've been shown love is. Love is not sex. Love is not lust. As a matter of fact, it's so far from it. It is opposed to it. They are opposites on the ledger. Love is way over here, and lust is way over here. And they have nothing in common. Why are we told to love our enemies? Because we're in a me. Love is something you do, not something you feel. Lust belongs to Jupiter in the flesh, in the empire. Desire. Desire belongs to Jupiter. And it wants more. Love belongs to Saturn. And it wants less. Because less is more. Love, I'll tell you something else about love too. It is only love. It can only be love if you give it away. If you keep it to yourself, it's dead. You must do. You must do what? How do you do love? Kindness, double S, to your enemy. We're at the Rubicon, people. 2020. As a matter of fact, to me, we are in the Rubicon. We're in the waters of the Rubicon. Rubicon, Ru, is red, as in ruby, and it's an icon. It's a red eye. It's a red eye. I call it the Red Eye Express, or the Red Eye Con. So the Rubicon is a river, and that's water. And we, just like when you cross from the age of Taurus and Africa to the age of fire and Aries, Moses brought the people through the water. They had to cross the Jordan, the water. The ferrymen, you have to cross the river Styx, the water. We're at the Rubicon. That's the event horizon. That's the main event. we are in the water. The water began. The water, we stepped into the water on the eclipse of 2017. We will be halfway through the water at the deepest point, in 2020 on 12/21. We make it to the other side in April of 2024. And what happens between now and then is everything. So what you need to be doing is loving. Love your enemy. Be kind to one another. Go spread kindness. Commit random acts of kindness. Create an act of kindness. And there are many opportunities. All the people that have been displaced, lost everything from this flood, and people do not go give to charities. You deal directly. You've got YouTube people you know. My friend Alexis, her family is still there in the Carolinas. They're all okay. I checked on them. They're all fine, and they weathered, fortunately. God favored them. They're still missing her terribly. But there are many, many people. There are people in your family, your next door neighbor, people you run up on every day, people you walk by every day. You need to stop deciding who you're going to be kind to and who you're not. And I'm not saying don't let people take disadvantages of you, but we're being tested all the time. I call it entertaining angels. You're entertaining angels. You don't know who you're dealing with. That might be a perfect stranger to you. It might be somebody that's been in your life the whole time, and you just never noticed it. But we are definitely under scrutiny. We're all being watched all the time. Everything is being recorded. Nothing is lost. Nothing, 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 nothing. There's nothing hidden that will not be revealed about everything, about all of this. We need patience. We need kindness. We need virtue. We need integrity, honor, respect, not tolerance. Oh, I tolerate you. I hate these words and these spells they cast upon everybody. Reject their words. You know truth. You know love. Love is truth. That is the only truth. I understood that when I got here. I didn't want to stay here because there's only one thing that's real, and that's love. And everything else is fake. It's darkness. It's fake. This is all phony baloney. It's here. I love phony baloney because it comes from two places. Phony from the Phoenicians. I call it the faux knee. And if you understand alchemy, you know that Capricorn is the knee, and that's God. So it's the fake God. The Phoenicians are the fake God. They're phony. And then you have baloney, or below the knee, which is the shin, which represents Aquarius. So the knee and the shin represent Saturn and the ages of Capricorn and Aquarius in the human body. Everything's connected to everything else. So you have the Phoenicians and the Bolognes, or the Bolognes, and the Bolognes are from where? Where do we get the word Bologna? Bologna. The Germans and the Phoenicians. the fake knees and the fake shins. I love the symbols. I've done the videos with the pictures that all through around the world. This is not just in South America, but it is prevalent in Central and South America, of the king who's laying down. He's got the crown on his head, and his knees and his shins are up in the air. He's showing you his knees and his shins, and he's a man, and he's got on a crown. And he's telling you, I am the king, and this is my kingdom. Think about what I'm telling you. Think, think, think. Let's talk about think. What is think? I can't help myself. I think is the Saturn or the crown chakra ink. That's why you got to write it in your head, and that's why they're trying to give you constantly pink. 16, which Saturn is 7. 16 is 1/6, and it's the faux 7. It's the fake 7. The fox 7. The faux 7. You think with what? Saturn, the crown chakra. They want you to think with your fake chakra, the fake 7, the pink. Think pink. Oh shit, man, I flipped when I seen that one. So always, I love my Saturn symbol. And it's all about ink. That's why you pull the words from the tones when you pull the sword from the stone. We write our stories. You keep the journal. You write the book, and it manifests. Stephen King's manifesting freaking monsters and nightmares. Lovecraft, all of them. That's how they resurrected the monsters of Cthulhu. The more people they could get to read them, the more powerful the gods became. They create them. I've told you to manifest, the first thing you do when you want to become a master manifester, not the adept or the novice, is you create a spiritual being or a genie to do your bidding. You tell them everything about their self, what they look like, what their powers are, what their limitations are. You create this being, and then you send it out to do your bidding. And they create much evil instead of much good. Look, we could manifest. This place has the potential to be the star jewel on the crown of all crowns. Because anything is possible here. Anything. We can manifest it into a flat earth. We can manifest it into a multi-star system. It's just what all we are willing to consent to. We got to consent. And they're good at making us consent because they have a contract. A tract is paper. And a con, well, we know what a con job is, don't we? It's a scam. The letter C is the scam. That was one of the main letters they used to get us all. That we can't figure out. We can't see the differences between the languages because we don't understand what they did to the alphabets or to the symbols, how they inverted and changed the symbols. They've made everything upside down. We're coming into the upside right world. Everything's fixing to flip. To where evil is no longer good and good is no longer evil, but everything's going to be in its correct place. That's the thing about Capricorns. They're all earth signs, but especially Capricorns, are very organized and they know where everything belongs. Saturn in Capricorn knows exactly where everything belongs. Everything in its place and a place for everything. And he's about restrictions, walls, limitations. He's about walls. He's about walls. The Empire doesn't want a wall. They want the law, which is the reversed wall. The Empire wants war. The reverse of war is raw. You have to flip everything. And you can take the vowels and do with them what you will, because they are irrelevant. They're irrelevant because when made in the mouth makes 72 sounds. I don't care where you're from. And like I said, people all over the world, we do certain things. We sneeze, we laugh, we cough, we cry. These are called inborn acts. Well, I have another one for you that I'm really curious about. When you ask somebody, you're in a classroom full of students, and the teacher looks at you and points to you and says, would you get up and write this on the board? And you point to yourself and you say, who, me? Who, me? Where do you point to? Do you point to your face? Do you point to your third eye? Everybody on this planet points to the heart. Why do we do that? Who, me? All vowels are made the same way in the mouth. A-E-I-O-U. A-E-I-O-U. The mouth never closes. So if someone was a deaf mute that was reading your lips, the A, the E, the I, the O, and the U all look the same to them. A deaf person can't hear the vowels. It's the consonants and the way they're shaped and the way the mouth moves that makes them able to read your lips. Now there's a good one. That's a code within a code. Read my lips. George Bush Sr. said, read my lips. No new taxes. He didn't lie. He did not. He did not give anybody new taxes. He just raised the old ones. They're all about loopholes, holes in the loop. And they think that's going to get them out of it. It's not. A loophole's not going to help them. A loophole's not going to help you. A loophole is not the straight and narrow. It's not the middle path. You know, a lot going down about the 3 pillars. Again, they're the 3 damn crosses. They're the 3 states of matter. Solid, liquid, gas. Solid in the middle. Fixed. Liquid is mutable. And gaseous is cardinal because they go up. They're the lighter of them. That's why they're called noble gases. Noble gases. Fixed is stable. Cardinal is purified. The cardinal age of Aries was supposed to purify the people. And they flipped and started sacrificing their children in the fire. They started to purify the flesh instead of the spirit. For what they gained. Because they were it was the age of the lower chakra. Please learn alchemy. You will understand everything. Please learn these symbols. I'll show you one more. Oh, I did that one backwards. That one's no good because it's defaulted. And in sigil magic, you can, there's another symbol for this. And it was showed to us in Stargate when they did this. Because it's pointed up, it's the same symbol as that. It's a triangle with a line pointed up. The line can be anywhere. You can do it like that. You can do it like that. A Christmas tree. That's air. The line can be anywhere in sigil magic. That way, when you go around the world, no matter how it showed up, if you've got the triangle with a line attached to it anywhere, pointed up, it's air, pointed down, it's earth. If it doesn't have the line, pointed up, it's fire, and pointed down, it's water. Saturn rules over these two. Jupiter rules over these two. Both of them have a masculine and feminine aspect. There are dualities within dualities. And one more time, the yin-yang, if you are a white female, you have a black spot in the middle. And if you are black hair male, you have a white center female. Our third eye, our higher self, is opposite what we are. If you are white, at the core you're black. If you're black, at the core you're white. Speaking of positive, negative, masculine, feminine duality. All right, go commit that random act of kindness every chance you get. As a matter of fact, I've thought about it. Maybe we should not make it so random after all. It should be intentional. It should be scheduled. It should be intentional. The Ka is the spirit. The end of the spirit. That's where it's supposed to go. You have to give love away. If you keep it to yourself, it is not love. It is only love when you give it away. And love is not valued in dollars. It's valued, which some people can because they tell you it's time and money. It's valued in time. It's all about time. It's about time you love. How much do you love is how much time you spent loving, how much time you spent giving, how much time you spent doing. How did you spend your time? How have you spent your time here? A lot of us are wasting time. Time is Saturn. Father Time, old Kronos himself, Saturn. We waste time. Some people are wasting time. Some people are doing time. We call that imprisonment. And that directly relates to Saturn. The word doing belongs to Saturn. The word letting belongs to Saturn. And love. But what are you doing with your time? Are you productive in the spiritual world or in the physical world? We have to find a balance between both. We have to understand the knowledge of good and evil. Dark and light. We're in a duality. You must balance. But as far as I'm concerned, the spirit is far more valuable than the flesh. Your spirit lives forever. Your flesh will die and become something else in the dirt. It will just manifest into something else. That's why it's more important what you put into your mind than what you put into your mouth. Remember, veganism is related directly to Jupiter. Directly. Jupiter wants, eventually, hear me, he's already got y'all eating seaweed, which is his preferred, he wants his cattle eating grass. Get ready. He's got, you eat wheatgrass. You know, a lot of the people around the planet, a lot of the problem we are having, and that most have with gluten and all these other substances, is wheat. Wheat was only given to one tribe. The Native Americans, we were given corn. We weren't given wheat. So bread does not work for the red man at all. For a lot of nations, the northern nations in the snows and all that, these are meat eaters. They're not vegetarians. Their DNA is not set up that way. Now, before the flood, or before the fall, when this world wasn't wobbling like it did, and we had one constant season where everything grew round and round, just like it will in the new age coming. We're told that there's a river, and on each side are 12 trees that produces the fruit that heals the nations, and they produce constantly. So this wobbling earth will be fixed. It's going to adjust itself. The magnetics are going to reset, recalibrate themselves. And it's going to get ugly when it does. You're going to lose your internet. You're going to lose your electricity. You're going to lose everything. But if you have your higher self, your third eye, your spirit, the Holy Spirit in you, you don't have anything to worry about. This place is temporary. Why do you want to make eternal decisions on a temporary place? Why weep over? To me, this is a cartoon. We're in a play, a repeat. This all happened before. We're all projecting what's already happened. It's like we're reliving the nightmare. But that's all fixing to be over. We're at the Rubicon. Our feet are in the water. Come 2020, we're going to be halfway there, waist deep in it. So don't think it's going to get easier. But if you understand what's going down, I don't care how chaotic it gets, you can remain in peace and have a calm, serene nature about you, just waiting to the day you see that sky turn red. And I'm going to tell you, don't think I'm telling you bombs and nuclear bombs. This is not what this is. Something's going to hit the atmosphere. A Carrington event, a solar event, I don't know how it's going to go down. All I know is I've been dreaming about it my whole life. Other people are dreaming about it. They're talking about the same thing I am, but I'm seeing it in a whole new light. When I first started having the dream of the red sky as a child, I thought the red sky was the problem. The red sky was the fix. In the Native American tradition, it's the red kachina. And what it does, it's the purifier. It's the purifier. It comes to, it's the purge. They've been telling you there's a purge coming. That's the purge. And it's not going to be based on what? The fake box. You have your own mind's eye. But the TV is an artificial mind's eye. And it lies about everything. And it thinks for you. It imagines for you. It dreams for you. It tells you what you want, when you want, how much you want. And that you always need more. It tells you what you need. It gives you insurance, assurance. Oh, I'm getting worse at this. I'm going to stop now. Okay, I've taken this on at 1 hour and 38 minutes. It's going to take me a while to upload it. I've only got, unfortunately, don't be mad, I've only got one chart uploaded this week. I had to take some personal time and get some things done, and then I wanted to upload the last video and this one. All your charts are done. Hey, they're in my building. They are ripping out all the old wiring and coming to install new wiring for the cable system. So I'm going to have internet back very soon. When it goes down, I'm the first one in the building to come on because I'm 101. I'm the first apartment on the bottom on the corner. So I'll get it immediately. And when it happens, then everybody, like I said, I can do them all in one day. All right, hang in there, everybody. Don't give up hope. And I'm telling you this because of what Venus is fixing to do. Venus, our heart, is already debilitated in mutable earth. and now she's going to be retrograde, debilitated, immutable Earth. And it's going to be a cold-hearted, heartbreaking, no sympathy, cruel-ass time. But hang on, that this too will pass. All right, go create some acts of kindness and make this world a better place. And don't take no for an answer. Demand it. You Virgos, you people born with Pluto in Virgo, you need to get ready, because 2020's coming. And then the door opens for your whole generation to make this change that we all desperately need. Desperately. Pluto in Virgo. Know your chart. Which cross are you on?